Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Always remember, guys, know what you hold. XRP is being adopted behind the scenes by the largest institutions in the world. They don't want you to see this, okay? Adoption from central banks. Unlike other cryptocurrencies, Ripple has the most interest in adoption from central banks and other large financial entities. This coming from, I believe it's an ECB document. New forms of cross-border and cross-currency settlement here. Okay, so just talking about the new players. Entry of the new players in the space in reaction of incumbents, alternative connectivity services, including Ripple Connect, a response to SWIFT and GPI, use of crypto assets as that bridge currency. Of course, Ripple, especially at the beginning, has gone on the record saying they wanted to make XRP that universal bridge currency to be able to connect all the rails across the world and deliver XRP liquidity to be able to make these cross-border transactions. Now, since then, the XRP ledger has matured, and now we're seeing other use cases for the XRPL. But also CBDCs, this says down here, could also be combined with central bank digital currencies. Now, that is very interesting considering what we're seeing today. Tom Emmer posted this just yesterday, actually. If you don't think the Fed is pursuing a CBDC, think again. So yeah, we've heard about central bank digital currencies appearing in other countries around the world, but not the United States. Well, guess again, the Fed gave this to my staff during a presentation earlier this Congress. They view a CBDC as one of their key duties in capitals. Tom Emmer puts it, one of their key duties. So some of these key duties here of the Fed: payment system, so currency, check allocation, automated clearinghouses or ACHs, wholesale payments, FedWire fund services, FedWire security services, fiscal agent of the U.S. government, FedNow, which is highly Ripple enabled, by the way. And then right at the bottom here, central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So that's not looking great for the American people. Of course, central bank digital currencies come in all shapes and sizes. If we do get a CBDC, guys, think about it. So long as they cannot be used to surveil the public, I mean, I guess they would be okay, but I just don't want my government to have that option. What do you guys think? Put it down in the comments. So central bank digital currencies on the docket there, even though, the U.S. government has said, no, that's not something we're really thinking about, or rather the Fed saying, no, that's not something we are toying with, at least not at this moment. Well, Tom Emmer has now exposed them, and sure enough, CBDCs definitely part of the agenda. Okay, what else do we have here from XRP drops? Ripple at the Tokenization Policy Summit in the UK. The key discussions include digital asset innovation in the UK, tokenization deposits and real-world assets, tokenization policy framework, and that's being head up by Ripple's very own Eric Van Miltenberg, and Aurelie Delems, Nadal, Andrew Whitworth, Cassie Craddock, and that's all happening March the 13th. So this just happened yesterday, guys. Tokenization Summit of digital asset is an increasingly urgent policy concern across Europe and more widely. Yet to date, policy development in this space is still needed, and Ripple is playing a central role in this. Ripple and the Center for Financial Technology at Imperial College Business School are hosting an event convening experts and influential stakeholders to share their expertise and support the future direction of tokenization policy. So policy revolving around tokenization as a whole, being spearheaded by Ripple. They are the one here listed on the branding on the brochure, Imperial College Business School, Center for Financial Technology. So it is good to see that, the company that exclusively uses XRP is, heading up these policy summits, even if it's not in the U.S., around the world, because it's all going to be interconnected one day. Tokenization is going to affect economies globally. So Ripple, part of this. Great news here. Wanted to thank XRP Drops for posting that. The Wrath of Kahneman also found this little gem. Ripple cited in the American Institute of Physics article, okay? Impact of blockchain technology development on industries in the context of entrepreneurial, marketing, and management perspectives worldwide. So quite a lengthy article here from back in January of this past year. And I will link this in the description if you guys want to go over the details. But Wrath of Kahneman here highlighting some of the key points. Reduction of costs for cross-border transactions and remittances. And yes, guys, they do mention Ripple. Banks and other organizations are facing high costs of cross-border transactions. For example, most of these transactions take 3 or more days to be completed. But organizations like Ripple, whose network is now available in more than 40 countries and 6 continents, are now using blockchain and cryptocurrencies to overcome these barriers. Blockchain helps to achieve almost instant cross-border transactions at a fraction of the cost. So now these scholarly papers are also noting Ripple in terms of the broader framework for cross-border transactions, and this in the context of industries' entrepreneurial, marketing, and management perspectives. So this is specifically from the American Institute of Physics, but I'm sure this is going to have broader implications worldwide, especially when we see RippleNet being rolled out in a more meaningful capacity. Perhaps 2025, guys, the year of real-world utility. If you guys didn't catch the video I did this morning, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. But anyway, wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. Moving along, guys, this one courtesy of Smoke here on Twitter. And, often we see the company Ripple being discussed by big players in the space. And sometimes we also see Ripple and Stellar mentioned in the same breath. I don't think it's commonly understood how much in the plans Ripple and Stellar are in the minds of the financial elite, while they are restructuring cross-border payments internationally. The only two crypto companies that are illustrated in this particular document here, payments, nz.co.nz, are in fact Ripple and Stellar. Take a look at this, guys. There's a lot of competition in cross-border payments, but they mention Bitcoin at the top. Of course, no company is associated with Bitcoin, but a lot of Ripple partners here, and some Stellar partners, I suppose, MoneyGram being one of them. But RIA and WorldRemit have connections to Ripple. Also, Payoneer has a connection to Ripple, and you guys can see in there the Ripple logo and the Stellar logo mentioned both in this document. So this gets me thinking, and I always have to go back to this paper put out by the World Economic Forum back in June of 2021, Cryptocurrencies, a Guide to Getting Started. And if you go to page 17 in this document, the WEF, yes, the World Economic Forum, they outline the cryptocurrencies that they see as having influence in the coming years towards this goal of cryptocurrency utilization, real-world utility by the year 2025. So they have Algorand on the list, Cardano, CeLO, the XRPL, meaning XRP, Solana, and Stellar. So XRP and Stellar's XLM, again, two cryptocurrencies that are very, very similar in the way that they were constructed and the way the execution will occur. Two cryptocurrencies that are also going to play a huge role in this. Also, let's not forget the World Bank, noting that XRP and XLM are stable coins. So, part of this process, just kind of getting them rolled out in a real-world capacity. And we're getting very, very close to that. So wanted to thank Smoke here for posting that. Another great find here from Smoke, even Deloitte, a top financial consulting firm, created an app based only on Stellar and Ripple for cross-border payments. So just to kind of add to my point there, another document here, Deloitte has developed a proof of concept and accelerators to facilitate cross-border payments over blockchain platforms. Applicable use cases include B2B, wholesaler and supplier payments, and international remittances. Deloitte has partnered with existing blockchain platforms for enhanced integration, such as Stellar and Ripple. So this is an older document here, but check this out. FX pathfinding. Find the most optimal FX rates available on network from pre-selected providers. And they're saying it flat out here. They are using Ripple and Stellar networks to provide such an application. So from this Deloitte document, which I will link in the description of the video for you, just taking a look here, you can find more instances where they mention Ripple. This is the point that I had mentioned earlier. Over here, they just talk about some of the issuers, compelling new payment alternatives and e-wallets like Venmo, Apple Pay, Alipay, and Ripple are emerging from startups and non-banking competitors. So also just using Ripple there as an example of a non-bank that has provided an alternative for payments. And again, this is coming from a Deloitte report from a few years ago. So wanted to thank Smoke yet again for posting this, just letting us know, reminding us who these big players are eyeing for their cross-border concerns. DLT technology, obviously, they're not using Bitcoin, but they are going to be using blockchain technology. They are going to be using cryptocurrencies for settlement, in this case, XLM, XRP. But anyway, let's move on, guys, because the clarity, the crypto clarity, stablecoin clarity, all this stuff with regards to, legislation, central bank digital currencies, as I mentioned, it is on the docket as per Tom Emmer here. Well, this is Warren Davidson discussing it more. Legislation in Congress. Listen to this.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. It's the hook that allows kind of more spread. So I think of it a lot of times government's sort of like an invasive plant. Once it gets in a field, it just keeps growing. And the only way to get it out is to dig it up by root and branch. And if it's actually doing something useful, you at least have to prune it to make sure it doesn't overtake everything else. And I think companies that find themselves under regulatory scrutiny are frustrated because there seems to be no satisfaction of the amount of regulation. There's always more. That's particularly true in the digital asset space. So we've seen digital asset companies come to the CFPB saying, or come to the SEC in particular saying, please regulate us. We want clarity. We're happy to cooperate with you. What do you need to know? And they share endless information, and they never get an answer. It's like Hotel California in a sort of way. You can never check out. You can never leave. Mr. Soloway, could you highlight the particular challenge digital asset companies confront when you have CFPB trying to put hooks into them in a regulatory environment where in no other part of the economy are they getting real clarity?
I agree, Congressman. I think the lack of regulatory clarity in the digital asset space presents a real problem for market participants there. It's my view that the proposed rule only muddies the waters here. Not only does the lack of risk-based justification make the rule unjustified, but it also leaves market participants in the dark regarding how they're supposed to prioritize compliance and whether they're even supposed to be covered by the proposed rule.
Yeah, so thank you. I hope that we do what our committee has set out to do, is provide that regulatory clarity. We passed FIT 21, we passed a ban on central bank digital currency, we passed stablecoin legislation, and we importantly protected the right of self-custody. Are there any concerns that the CFPB's approach threatens self-custody? Because frankly, one of the most important protections we found as companies maybe haven't flourished, they've had problems, some have failed, users have been harmed, notably by FTX. Isn't self-custody a way to protect yourself?
Self-custody would address the risks that FTX presented, and the proposed rule's lack of clarity regarding whether these technologies are covered only makes it harder for developers and users to deploy that technology, given the regulatory uncertainty.
Thank you. My time's expired, and I yield.
So in and amongst all that, too, they discuss self-custody, which is really important. People should have the right to custody their own cryptocurrency. By the way, guys, I will be giving away 2 Ledger Nanos if you're interested in self-custody. I'm going to be giving them away at the beginning of April, but you do have to be subscribed to the channel to be eligible for that giveaway. So subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. Conversely, if you just want a Ledger Nano, I do have an affiliate link in every video I do. You can use my affiliate link if you want. You do not have to. But, self-custody, very, very important. There are going to be more scams occurring this time around. The crypto market is getting hotter and hotter as the weeks go on. Prices are going up. You guys can see here, extreme greed is at 91 as of the time of this recording. And just look at this, just even within the last 7 days, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are up quite significantly. Bitcoin's up, not even one of the largest ones, 9.13%, but we got BNB coin up 38, Solana's up 22.9, XRP is up 10.3, Dogecoin has been knocking it out of the park too, 18.7. So, custodying your own crypto might be a good idea to have that protection. You do not want to be the victim of another FTX situation, as Warren Davidson puts it here. Anyway, wanted to thank 801 XRP for posting that. And then there's the great debate. Mike Novogratz dives into this. Is Ethereum a security? His insight suggests an Ethereum ETF approval is imminent, citing existing future products. Listen to this.
Ethereum right now has moved in a big way. Part of that is on the back now of speculation or of an expectation somehow that we're going to have a Ethereum ETF and that is going to create a similar kind of dynamic. Do you think that that's the right way to think about it? And do you actually think that there will be an Ethereum ETF?
Listen, I think there's a fierce debate inside the SEC right now, right? I mean, Gary Gensler, before he was at the SEC, is on tape saying Ethereum is definitely not a security. Since he's been at the SEC, he hasn't made a ruling on it. And I think what the SEC is doing is debating, can they call Ethereum a security with this idea that it changed when it went from proof of work, right, for validation to proof of stake. If they can't make that argument, and I think it's a tough argument to make, they have to, they're going to approve the ETF because it's the same argument that won the Bitcoin ETF. There already is a futures Ethereum ETF. And so if you have it for futures, you have to have it for cash.
I guess you cannot have one without the other. So an interesting point here by Mike Novogratz. Of course, Ethereum has seen its fair share of controversy over the last few years. Danny Dark here posting this. For the last few years, DLT pilots have primarily been Ethereum-based, largely for their smart contract functionality. As a result of the SEC lawsuit, though, XRP holders began to dig and discovered the extent to which foreign adversaries control the network. And so he just brought up a few screen grabs here from over the years. Vladimir Putin and Vitalik Buterin discuss Ethereum opportunities. Buterin admits node centralization is Ethereum's challenge as fears loom about Chinese control. Then there's all the research from Truth Labs at Boring Sleuth on Twitter. Why isn't Ethereum addressing China, Prometheum, and the Waxian backing? It's been 8 years. Why aren't the media, including Web3, holding them accountable and even asking these questions? So just a plethora of information that has been going around. And then Lodestar, guys, from Bearable Guy, why would banks want to use a centralized coin that is in the grips of countries like China? An argument here to strengthen the notion that XRP will be that world bridge currency. So just another thing there. And then just some more stuff here with regards to some Bearable Guy riddles. The bear sleeping, dreaming of the SEC. Funny that this was posted back in 2018. Sleep peacefully. So maybe at that time, Bearable Guy did realize that XRP did need to have clarity, and that eventually was going to get clarity 5 years later in 2023. Things that make you go, The Ripple lawsuit not only spurred said discoveries, but it also accelerated U.S. regulatory movement, specifically the FIT Act, which I recently did a video on. And Bearable Guy liked the video, by the way, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner. What would the odds be if the extent of these foreign ties, primarily China and Russia, were to be exposed just as the West begins to move on blockchain overnight? So definitely some things to consider here, guys. Wanted to thank Danny for posting that. Not only that, a huge bombshell from Stephen Nerayoff, digital asset investor, posted this last night. Whoa, Stephen Nerayoff just dropped a bombshell. He and Joseph Lubin met with the Federal Reserve in late 2014, before the Ethereum launch. Yes, now we have the SEC, CFTC, and the Federal Reserve working with Lubin. Remember, JP Morgan was there before the public mainnet launch. Listen to this.
New pioneers of the new monetary system are taking this whole operation. So is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's very fair. And in fact, I'll add one more to that. Joe came to me one day and said, we're going to meet the Federal Reserve. And so this was in late 2014. And I said, why are we meeting with the Federal Reserve? They're like, what's the Federal Reserve? Why are they interested in what we're doing? We met with the Federal Reserve, and it was, a nice, polite meeting. But I let's just say I got the feeling that, when they said, there's if there's somebody at the table, that's the one that's getting cheated, and you don't know who it is, it's you, right? So it's like I wasn't in on it, but it was clear that there was something else going on. At least that's how I felt, and it seems to be correct in hindsight.
So more evidence to suggest and to support the nefarious narrative from the Ethereum camp. But guys, it is all unraveling before our eyes. 2025 set to be the timeline for real-world utility and price discovery for cryptocurrencies like XRP. Although it's trading right now at just under 69 cents, just about 68.5 cents. Still think it's a steal of a deal. Still one of those cryptocurrencies that has not moved yet. But guys, it will in the coming months. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.